Okay, beautiful people. 5 hours later, basically about 5 hours later, I finished the cabinets, and this is the final product. As you can see, those screws are still there. Well, those screw openings or whatever you want to call them. There's two on that side too. I'm going to figure out a way to finesse that somehow because I want to keep this cabinet open because I'm going to do some cool decorative stuff on the inside. Stay tuned again for my apartment tour whenever it is completely finished. But let me step out further so you guys can see the final look of everything. That is the top and this is the bottom. So yeah guys, this took me a total of 2 days, but if I would have went straight through, it probably would have took me about 8 hours, maybe roughly more or less 8 hours to finish all of this. I am completely exhausted, and yeah, let all you do be done in love. 1 Corinthians 16:14. All right, and that's that, guys. Of course, I'm Tara J, and I'm out. Peace.
Disclaimer. While editing the video in Premiere Pro, somehow the video zoomed in and out. Every time I tried to fix one segment, the next segment zoomed out or in. After the 10th attempt, I was pissed, so if you can fix it, let me know.
What is up, beautiful people? Of course, it's me, Tara J, and why are we in my kitchen? You may be wondering. Here I am doing a mini kitchen makeover. I am going to be redoing my cabinets. As you can see, I have wood cabinets here. And I'm just going to make them white because I think that it brings so much more light into my kitchen, and it's very inexpensive. Excuse me, I have stuff on my brow. I just finished working out. I just finished cleaning the dishes, and I'm like, I might as well get to this while my blood is flowing, my adrenaline is high, and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and knock this out. So if you see my shirt and it's dirty, I'm sorry, but I have become a construction worker, apparently. So with that being said, I do want to introduce the things that I have, things that you may need for this video. Again, this is very inexpensive. I paid under $50, honestly, to redo your kitchen cabinets for the low, okay? But before we get into that, I do want to make sure you guys are subscribed to my channel. So if you have not subscribe to my channel, go ahead and subscribe now, and welcome. If you are new here and if this is your first video you have ever seen from me, thank you so much for clicking this video, and if you subscribe to my video, I would really appreciate that as well. Okay, so let's get into the video, guys. So the first thing you're gonna need is contact paper. You can get this from Amazon, but I got this from Target. I got two of these. This is the adhesive covering contact paper in white. It's 18 inches, 20 feet, and 30 square foot. And then you have all centimeters times millimeters and millimeters squared, all of that extra stuff, but I don't think that's necessary. The most important thing to know is 18 inches by 20 feet. I bought two of these just in case, but you know, I might not even need two of these because I only have, as you can see, this set of cabinets, and I have a set of cabinets down here. I am in a studio, so I don't have a huge kitchen, but I'm appreciative that this wall here is here, okay? Because you know, most of those studios, you have one big room. You can see your kitchen from your bed, you can see your bathroom and your closet. You can just see every single thing, and everything is in one space. I am very grateful that this wall here is here. But I don't want to show you guys my entire kitchen because I am going to do a kitchen apartment tour not very soon, but like eventually when I have everything set up the way I want it to be. So that's why it's kind of cut off. You guys can see a little bit of my cabinet, so I want you guys to be able to see what it looks like before it turns white. I am going to put a picture up here too as well to what my cabinets look like, so no worries, no big deal. I am going to show you guys from start to finish what it looks like. So again, I got this you can get this from Amazon, but I got this from Target. I paid about $5 to $7 for this, so I got two, so that's about $15 plus tax at the most. This measuring tape, I got this from Home Depot. I'm not too sure how much this costs because I kind of took it from my boyfriend, but measuring tapes aren't too expensive. You can get some from Walgreens, Home Depot, Lowe's, anywhere you want to get like hardware stuff, you can get it. And I'm pretty sure it's not more than about $7, maybe $10 at the most. What you're also gonna need is screwdrivers, maybe a big one, maybe a small one, because you are gonna have to take the cabinet doors out and then screw them back in. You're also gonna need a plastic bag if you are kind of shaky like me. I'll drop things, I lose screws all the time. So just put your screws in a plastic bag just to keep them where they are. You're gonna need some scissors as well because you wanna make sure your line is as clean as possible just to get them on accurate look. You're also gonna need a scrunchie, a spongy thing, kind of like this, just to keep your air bubbles out of it. And you're also gonna need an ID scraper, your maybe building login, anything that has a flat surface that can like scrape the flatness of it. I did not grab that right now, but I am gonna go ahead and grab that now, just to show you guys what I use. Okay guys, so this is what I use for making sure my contact paper is flat on the cabinets. What you can literally use anything. This is my work ID to scan myself in, and it's hard enough. I don't recommend you use a debit card or a gift card or something like this because it isn't hard as people may seem. You do need something with a little bit more strength. That's why I use this little packaging that my ID came in. So it works a tad bit better. And yeah, so that's everything you probably will need. And of course I got my work ID and this was free. So yeah, under $50, remodeling your kitchen cabinets for under $50. Let's get to it. Another thing you might need if you're small, well, not that small, but I'm small, a step stool or a footstool or something that'll give you a few more inches higher to get up to the top screws, just so you can be up there perfectly and you don't mess up or split the screw or the wood or anything like that. Because again, you want this to be as renter friendly as possible. So if you have a security deposit, you can get your security deposit back. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and get to unscrewing all my cabinets, and then we're gonna apply the contact paper. Okay guys, so this is the overview of what my kitchen looks like. The top cabinets, it's not really too much of anything, so I don't have to do too much. But the thing about that is I do want to do the cabinet doors, and then I want to do this part here, and then I'm thinking about just leaving this part up off of it, just so I can have an open cabinet space in my I saw this on YouTube. I thought that was the cutest idea, so I think that's what I'm gonna do. And then, so I'm not gonna cover these cabinet doors up. I'm just probably gonna just stick them underneath the cabinet to have this open up and have my cups and plates showing, because I think that's super cute. And then I'm gonna do this doors, but I still would have to do this side, this inside area here, like this. That needs to be white too. And then I'm gonna go ahead and do the bottom under here because that's necessary. Top all the way up there. See, I'm little. I have to stand on my tippy toes to reach it. This cabinet, of course, and all around it. And then this cabinet over here and all around it as well. So I'm not too sure how long it takes, but I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Go ahead and start unscrewing the cabinets, and I'll see you guys when I'm done. cabinet off. So what I'm going to do is unscrew all of the, well, not these, because again, I'm going to keep this cabinet here open. But in all my other cabinets, I'm going to make sure I take all of the hardware off of it because I want a flat surface. So I'm going to have to unscrew all of these things, these two as well, and then reapply them later. One thing I would recommend though, if you are, I didn't know my camera was sideways, oh my goodness. One thing I would recommend though, if you are underneath the sink unscrewing stuff and you don't have the balance, kind of like myself, excuse me, I'm out of breath, goodness, I've been working out, I've been cleaning the kitchen, I've just been doing a lot of stuff. I'm super tired, but excuse me, what I was saying was, if you're over the sink, right, and if you're over the sink and you're unscrewing, as I just did, you want to maybe cover the sink with some newspaper or something like that, just in case your screws fall, because that's what mine did. My screw did fall, but luckily it didn't fall in the sink. So the best bet is probably to cover up your sink, just in case you let the screws fall and it lands on whatever and it doesn't go down the drain, because that'd be a huge bummer if your screw goes down the drain, because now you gotta go find whatever screw that is at the store and replace it, rather than using the screws that your power unit gave you. I am going to continue taking the rest of the hardware off of the cabinets, but this is the first step, making sure all the cabinets are off first. Okay?
As you can see here, I finally got all the cabinet doors off of the cabinets. I also have the hardware off of the cabinets as well. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead and get into taking the hardware off the cabinet doors, because that's an imperative step if you're going to cover it up and make it look like a very flat surface. But again, don't forget, you do have to put the hardware back into the doors, so it is going to bust a hole in your paper. No worries, it's not going to look crazy. But again, like I said, you do need 2 screwdrivers. You need 1 big and 1 small, just in case the screw opening is too big or the screw opening is too small. As you can see here in this video, sometimes I go in and out and switch to screwdriver that I'm using because one is too big or one is too small. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this up and take the hardware off of these 2 cabinets and then proceed to the next cabinet. And then I'm going to show you how to apply the contact paper. apologize for the video being like this. I tried to edit it and maximize the size as best way I could, but it just wouldn't do it. So I just was like, forget it. I'm still gonna post this video. If you don't like it, I do apologize. Well, one thing I would recommend doing before starting, as you can see, put a cushion underneath your knees. When I finished this, my knees were like on fire, and I didn't put a pillow underneath my knees until like after the fact. So that's basically something that you need if you want to work on the floor. Maybe work on a table. That's probably a good option as well. So here you see me placing the cabinet door on top of the contact paper, sizing it up, trying to see where I should put it, and measuring the size equal, and then I'm going to cut the rest ending of the contact paper so it could be equal all around. Again, you're going to make sure you place it on the right side. The right side is meaning the screws and the handle. That's the side that you're not doing. You're only doing the side with the door handle, and then you're going to fold it in on the inside. Feel free to cover the inside if you want, but nobody's really going to see that besides you and maybe your significant other or whoever you live with, but no randoms is going to be in your cabinets unless you allow it. As you can see, I'm pointing into the cabinet screw holes and door knob holes, and that's the side that you want to be up because the other side is going to be covered with the contact paper. I go ahead and do the exact same steps I did here, but as you can see, the cabinet door is a bit wider than the contact paper, so I'm gonna have to double it up. No worries, it's not really that noticeable. What is it's gonna look like it's a line down your cabinet, but again, it's not gonna look bad at all. I really like how mine's turned out. So again, it's not a big deal, but you do have to double it up to have that space there that's opening. You need extra pieces for that. So what I did was measure it out and then cut it equally from top to bottom, and then I folded it around exactly how I did the other cabinet, sized it up to fit equally around the four sides. I cut another piece of paper just because, as you can see, I have a lot of stuff on the edge that still needs to be covered up. It's no big deal. Again, it's not going to look bad. Just go ahead and cut one side first, and then put the cabinet on top of the contact paper again, and then measure that side out and cut that side out as well. to do is clean our cabinets. You may want to do that before you size up your contact paper. It's really not a specific order on how to put contact paper on your cabinets. You can clean it and then measure out and cut it, or you can cut it and measure out and then clean it like I'm doing here. I literally clean everything with vinegar, so that's really your preference. And I'm using Lysol spray. I'm definitely getting the sides, the angle, the corners, the hard edge, and the flat surface. I'm doing both sides, cleaning it really, really good, just so no residue, no gook, and letting it dry. Or, as I did, I just quickly made it dry with a paper towel because I was trying to get this process done. But if you have the time, you can definitely let it sit and dry for yourself and then go to another project. So what you want to do is, again, consider where your screws are and where your handle goes, and then flip that over because you're not going to use that side. Then the second thing that you need to worry about is where you're going to be working at, what's your workspace, and get close enough to it where you can peel it and you can use your scraper or ID or credit card or whatever properly without hurting your back or knees and etc. Another thing that you do have to consider is it is really hard to disconnect the contact paper from the regular paper that it has. As you can see, I am struggling, like the struggle bus. I couldn't do it at all. But if you look really closely at the paper, they do have small little cutouts that will allow you to separate the two papers, as you can see. So following that, if you're struggling like me, that's completely fine. But following that, you're going to peel back the back sheet just a little bit, just enough to fold it over the side and the top of the cabinet as well. You really do have to eyeball it. It's not really something that I can really tell you as a measurement. It's really your preference of what you think you can do without getting air bubbles. So this is about what I did, and then I just let some of it hang over the top of the cabinet just to make sure it's going to cover the side and the hard edge of the cabinet. And then what I did was I began to lay it over the top of the cabinet and place it. See, as you can see here, I placed it, but I still left a little bit so I can scrape it down on the top of the cabinet, but then it also has enough to fold over as well. And then when you position it perfectly, it may take some time, but you do want it to be even. You don't want it to look a little raggedy in the inside of your cabinets, just for your own enjoy. You can enjoy it and not be like, okay, this is a mess. Make sure it is even, and then begin to scraping the top of the cabinets with your ID or scraper or whatever you decide to use. This is my work swiping card. If you want to have a hard edge, I learned that my debit card or my ID doesn't work as good as something harder like my swipe card or an actual scraper. And then you're just gonna go piece by piece doing it. Take your time. This is pretty time consuming, so you do have to have some time to spare. This took me about 2 days to do. I did the top cabinets one day and I did the bottom half the next day. And as you see, I'm just continuing to pull back the back page and then scanning it. I'm not scanning it, oh my god, I'm not at work. And then begin to scrape it down to stick properly to your cabinet. Again, it is a struggle. You do want to make sure you avoid all the air bubbles as possible. If you do have air bubbles, the good thing about that is you can pull the paper up and then you can try again. It's really no big deal, but as you can see, you want to do piece by piece, lay it down piece by piece, and not try to do the whole thing at once, because then you're going to definitely have some air bubbles. But if you do have air bubbles, make sure you have a wet squishy or a wet towel, because it'll easily get the air bubbles out. And then just go ahead and finish up your cabinets and you're all set. So when it comes to folding your edges, you're really going to do it just like you wrap a present. If you're one of those people that love wrapping Christmas gifts, you would definitely kill this, because it's literally just like that. You fold one side and then fold the other side over, or fold it in and then you fold the other side over. It's really that simple. It's the easiest way for me to explain it to you. You fold one side down and then you bend the inner portion like a triangle. As you can see here, I'm gonna fold it down so you can see. It's really hard to explain, but it's like the simplest thing ever, because you wrapping it like a Christmas gift. Everybody knows how to wrap the Christmas gift, and that's exactly how you're gonna do it. exact same thing. Make sure you consider where your screw holes are and your cabinet holders. Cabinet door opening handles. You want to consider that, and make sure you don't put the contact paper on top of the screw holders. If you do, that's completely fine because you are gonna punch a hole in them anyway. But the thing about that is you need majority of the contact paper on the side with the handles only, and that's what is the purpose of covering up your cabinet door. So make sure you don't do the wrong side. And then when it comes to measuring up and perfectly placing the additional contact paper, it is really up to you on how sturdy your hand is or how much a perfectionist you are. As myself, I tried my best to line it up perfectly. I didn't want to overlap it, but you can. That's really optional. But I didn't want to overlap it because I thought was gonna look a little tacky. So I kind of lined it up with each other the best way I could, and then went ahead and pulled the contact paper back just a little bit, as I showed you in the previous video on the previous cabinet, and then I added on the small side as well, and again lined it up as perfectly as I could so it could sit directly next to each other without any spacing or overlapping. And then I went ahead and flattened it down with my ID scanner, scraper, whatever you want to use, and then you have another covered cabinet. As you can see here, I am trying my best to perfectly align the additional contact paper with the contact paper that I already placed. Again, I don't personally think you should overlap it because it is going to look tacky. So just try your best to line it up together perfectly. I would say, depending on how tall you are, line up the bottom with the bottom versus the top, because no one is really going to see the top versus what they're going to see at the bottom, because again, the cabinet is much taller than you and anybody that's going to be in your house. So go ahead and line it up from the bottom to the top, but still place it from the top to the bottom, if that makes sense, as you can see as I'm doing the video. And again, line it up as perfectly as you can, just so it can be even, no gaps or overlapping, because that is the best option for you, for it to look the best, really.
Okay, beautiful people. 5 hours later, basically about 5 hours later, I finished the cabinets, and this is the final product. As you can see, those screws are still there. Well, those screw openings or whatever you want to call them. There's two on that side too. I'm gonna figure out a way to finesse that somehow because I want to keep this cabinet open because I'm gonna do some cool decorative stuff on the inside. Stay tuned again for my apartment tour whenever it is completely finished. But let me step out further so you guys can see the final look of everything. That is the top and this is the bottom. So yeah guys, this took me a total of 2 days, but if I would have went straight through, it probably would have took me about 8 hours, maybe roughly more or less 8 hours to finish all of this. I am completely exhausted, and yeah, let all you do be done in love. 1 Corinthians 16:14. All right, and that's that guys. Of course, I'm Sarah J, and I'm out. Peace.